Okay, so here I am. So I have to again thank Yitzi for this because he kept on saying you got to speak. It's this is your group and you've never really presented. I actually did about 2 years ago give a thing on public speaking. I did it with Jacob Usani. I don't know if any of you remember that. Uh, the group has transitioned since then, but so it took a little bit of convincing, but I finally acquiesced to Yitzi's request. So I got to thank him for allowing this to happen. But the truth is, I do have a lot to share, and I know the time is short. And I will say that this is really the first time I've ever given a presentation without a computer, without demonstrating a visual example, which is so important for this. But I figured, you know what, this is a good thing because I'll give a little taste of the shifting environment of business today and how it relates to what I do. And I'm going to also follow up, if anybody wants, I'm going to do a live presentation. We'll do a webinar. Anybody, it's free. And I will go through with you on your website and marketing strategies, understand where you are, what you have, what you can do. It'll be absolutely free. Give you free tips and strategies based on this discussion, but then we'll have a live presentation. So we'll do a sign up after, and I'll give you the date and everything as well. Also, I actually put a suit and tie on this morning. I figured, you know what, I'm presenting, I should look like a mensch. And it's 95 degrees outside. I said, okay, I'm just going to leave. At least I'll have a white shirt today. So I apologize if anybody is offended by my mode of dress. But anyways, when it's this temperature outside, this is how, at least I'm not wearing short sleeves, which I guess that was a debate as well. Anyways, to get started, so this is really, I put this as a backdrop, but I think I want to focus on this. And I think this really can help understand people the importance. What I want to really focus is on businesses today utilizing the web in general, web and technologies to really help grow their business. And this is more of an overall. It's going to be focused more on B2B, but there's many concepts you can take to other businesses. It's going to focus mainly on small to middle-sized businesses, but I think everybody can hopefully benefit from this. What I want to focus is on the idea of let's analyze the work that I do and the work that as far as websites and marketing, web marketing are concerned. So, and I think this is something that people have to always keep in mind whenever the idea of business is to help understand the process of sales. And the process of sales is that you have a product or service that you can offer to somebody else that they have a need for. And having them understand that need, that you can fulfill that need for them, is the art of the sale. The marketing and a website, which is one of the main marketing tools, is the process of getting your message out to those people to let them understand that you're the guy for that job. So that's a foundation of understanding this principle. Now, when you have a website, so many people, they just put up a website to have a web presence, right? Let's put up put up a Wix site, put up a temporary page. So they have a web presence and somebody Googles them or they can find their phone number. I'll just give you an example of starting at the beginning of, I had a leasing company that I was, many years ago. I went online to Google. I typed in the name of the company because I had to call them. I was inquiring about some leasing information. And the phone number that came up was their competition with a very similar name. And I didn't realize it and I called them. Now what happened was, it's very simple. Somebody else can get your business and you don't even know that because you're just not optimized online. So everybody today, almost everybody today, even if you have word of mouth business, it's a referral based business, they're going to be looking you up on Google. They're going to be looking up your website and they're going to make a decision based on what they find or what they can't find and what they see and what they don't see and what impresses them and what doesn't impress them. People want to understand generally that they're going to be taken care of in the product or service that they're looking for. So the idea is really to give them that experience that they'll be confident in using your company to provide them and fulfill their need for that product or service. So I think the website, if you have a website that's 10 or 15 years old, what you're doing effectively is you're showing your prospects or your current clients that use the website that you're not up to date and that you're not necessarily going to be on top of the game. And again, not everybody makes that decision, but a very good population, part of the population does. And for many businesses, many small businesses, one decision that could be made based on the website will cover your entire website cost. So just keep that in mind as well. So now I want to focus. The entire objective here is I have the website is really the main tool that's where you're going to convert them and get them interested in your product and service. The goal is to have all these things surrounding the website, because that's where ultimately you'll give them the information they need to understand what they need to do for you to be able to win them over. So we obviously, the design and the layout is very important, and I'll just give you some tips of things you should be looking for when you have a website. If you want people to call you, make the number very clear. Right there on the top of the screen, put the phone number. Sometimes many businesses, they want you to just read through and then contact them through a form or an email. Fine, then you don't need it right on top. But you need to have a phone number very clearly available and viewable if somebody wants to pick up the phone and call. Okay? Another thing to keep in mind is that your website should say what you do right away when you load the screen. The screen has to say what it is that you do so they get the message right away. And you want to entice people to keep on reading more about you. So you got to give them today's style is nobody reads today. Everybody's ADD. Everybody has no patience. You got to give them what they want right away. They're going to scan and scroll, whether it's on their phone, whether it's on their tablet, on their iPad, whether it's on their computer screen. They're going to scroll. They're not reading, they're scanning. So give them large graphics, things that they can relate to, pictures that relate to them. Everything's graphical today, very large text, bursts of information. Make sure your website has that to capture their attention, and make sure all your products and services or whatever you do is very clearly there, and understand that they're not reading, they're just scanning and scrolling. Okay? Now, so that's as far as design goes. Make it easy. Some of the other things I would very strongly suggest is people are looking who you are, who's running this company. You know, even if they get a referral from you, they know you're behind the company. Who's there? Have an About Us page show the staff, show some of the people who work there. Let them personally connect with those people and feel that they know there's real people behind that and they can connect to that. So that's another thing I would very strongly suggest. And a very clear contact page with all the information they need to get in touch with you, because ultimately the website is going to help them get in touch with you to have you do the sale through them. And there's also a functionality. There's many sites that have the functionality has to be there that makes sense. You know, let's say in your case, the banking, it has to make sense that it's secure. There's the screens are easy to find. People can find what they need. Customer service links are right there. So functionality also for existing customers, if they're not going to get the what they need to make it easy for them to do what they need, they're going to be disappointed. Okay, and just once Alex, once you're here, I'll just give an example here. One of the accounts I have, bank accounts, they give me a statement, and the statement stopped showing it has the money that comes in and the money that comes out. It doesn't calculate the totals. So I have to go through, when I do the reconciliation every month, I have to manually, I don't know where, it's not showing me the total in, the total out. It's just, letting me have to manually do that, which is ridiculous. It's nice. They made brand new statements that are beautiful, very nice and big, but functionality is really stupid. So make sure all the functionality on the website is there and it makes sense for your customers. Okay, so getting into the structure here I'm going to start with search engine optimization. Again, this is going to be very, very brief because I can spend hours on each one of these little boxes here. Search engine optimization. Here's a little tip I'll tell you. Google gives you a free tool called Google My Business, where you can put your information there with your Google account, put your address, put your business hours, put your logo there, put some pictures, put some basic information about the organization, and that will be, I would say the biggest tip for SEO is Google My Business, and it's the smallest thing you can do and the easiest thing you can do. You just have to know how to do it. So that's Google My Business. Just make an account, go to google.com/business, make sure your business is claimed with the right phone number, and make sure if you have the information there, you'll see it. When you Google the company name, Google will show you, it's called a knowledge panel on the right side of the browser screen, all about the company. You can control that. You can show people when they Google your company name what it will look like. So claim that information, put in your business hours, put in whatever information they're asking you. Make sure your profile is 100% complete, because the more you give them, the more they'll serve you directly on that business listing. That's the first step. Another thing I see very often, you can have a highly professional website. I know several very, very good web designers out there, competitors of mine, and they don't put in title tags of the web. They don't put in the little on the top of the navigation, on the top of the browser. You want to put optimized keywords in there because that's so important for Google. Meta description tags, which are also little keywords that go in like a sentence explaining what the company does. You can put keywords in there, And many companies don't have that. So many companies that have a nice site, they paid top dollar for a good website, they're missing this very important component. So another thing you can do for SEO is content. Quality, fresh, original content. So blog posting is really good because it shows, not only does it show you as an expert in your industry, but it also gives content to Google on a regular basis that's going to have keywords in there. And Google wants to see an active company. They want to see stuff going on. They want to see material. You know, they want to see you're going to upload new material every month or so, every 2 weeks or so, every 2 months. New content is very important. Okay, there's more to talk about, but let's move on. Social media. Social media, again, is a very, very deep subject. The idea is that you just want to have I'll give you an example of social media. Just, you know, obviously we all know about, a lot of us know about LinkedIn here. Facebook, the question is what type of platform should you focus on? To try to just generalize this very, very easily, basically the idea is you want to just have a presence because not just will your network of people who you're connected to be able to refer business to you by having your presence, they can tag you, but you can also, you'll come up on Google, you can control additional searches of your company, which will show your social media profiles. And again, Google uses this as well to see if you're an active company, if there's an active profile, an active presence. So it's important to have even something basic. Just set up a professional, let's say you have a LinkedIn page or a Facebook page for the company. Just set up, make sure the logo is properly sized. You want to, you know, each social media platform has the ability to give a special, you know, you want to, if you have like a long logo, rectangular logo, it's not going to show right if you upload it. You have to have it sized by a graphic designer, and you also want to have a special banner for each social media profile. So just get it up and running. Even do something basic. You don't have to pay a social media company $2,000 a month. Do it yourself. Put it in your schedule. Have one of your staff do it. Once a week, that's not a lot, but at least you have something there. Have somebody do it. Have a professional company just optimize it for you, and then just do it yourself. Obviously, if you can afford having an agency do the marketing for you, that would be ideal. Jack, I want to give you a tip right here. I make a LinkedIn post to the RBBN every single month here in Rella Cafe, and I don't have a way to tag you on LinkedIn. You make a LinkedIn company page, and then when I do it, you'll have another 500 to 1,000 people see that post about Rella Cafe. Free marketing for you. Okay? So, all right. Anyways, I'll give you Chazara after. Okay. Reputation management. Reputation management is when you type the company name or on Google, let's say, there's other, it's not just Google, there's Yelp, there's other individual facilities, like if you're in a nursing home business, there's a place for mom. But let's focus on Google right now because that's where people are. You type the company name, you'll see 1 star, 2 star, 5 stars. Many companies don't do anything about this. The thing is, though, you could totally control this. What do I mean by that you could control this? You can solicit positive reviews from your customers. You could and you should. Tell your customers, give you reviews. And if you have, let's say somebody gives you a bad review, reply to them. And then just bury it with positive reviews that you solicit from customers. Every time I launch a website, every time we make we have a new client and they're happy with the work, I say, here's a link to Google reviews, give us a review. And that everybody sees that when they Google your company name. Email marketing campaigns, this is one of the best marketing tools out there because you're attracting existing customers who know about you, they're convinced about you, you're just putting them in your forefront. You're putting them front of sight that, every single time I send an email marketing campaign, and I have to admit I don't do it often enough, but when I do it, I get a client of mine that says, hey, I need to do an upgrade, let's talk. They just get a reminder of what I do, and then they want to speak out to me. They get that email from me. So email marketing campaigns involves you have to create content for the email. You have to have something that's clever and not just stupid. Put something information there that a client would benefit from, a new service, something like that, and have an email list by a system like MailChimp or Constant Contact. You can even have a sign-up link on your website. And that's the idea of email marketing. Send them out. Every business should know speak to a marketing person, what's best for them as far as how often to send it out, what the cost would be to put the email together. That's as far as email marketing. And the last thing would be the website maintenance, which is really, I can't tell you how many times this year, how many calls I get of companies that did a website. They did a website 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and the site stops working. So one of the pages stops functioning. There's a hack. the thing got outdated. They don't have a good relationship with their current company, or they did it in India, and they come to me, can you help me? The main thing you can do is just make sure that every month, or every other month, that you have the website updated. Most sites, informational sites, let's say today, are WordPress. Make sure the software for WordPress is updated. The same way you update Windows software every once in a while, it says you have to update for security. Websites need to be taken care of. If they don't, they're going to get rusty. These things are going to break. The content's going to get old. Every once in a while, I just go through my own website. I spend a few minutes going through the pages, making sure the content's still relevant. You know, looking at my portfolio, that client's not, especially after Corona, there was a lot of changes. I took a lot of, let's say some companies went out of business. I took them out of the out of the portfolio. So just keep in mind, keep things up to date, do your maintenance, update your plugins, because otherwise things will look out of date, your company will look out of date, and then also you'll be vulnerable to hacks and malware. Then it's a lot more preventative maintenance is be a lot less costly than when you have a real problem to fix, and that's as far as maintenance goes. So in summation, I just like to say that every single company that's B2B or B2C, especially, but that's a whole other topic, really needs to have this in mind, just to have a professional presence, make sure it's being taken care of, and it's a thought part of the process. Because today, as we see with, if you ask somebody a year ago what was Zoom, more than a year ago, but back, most people did not know what Zoom was. Right? Today, who doesn't know what Zoom is? The world is virtualized. The world has changed. People are working remotely. The companies that have these big Manhattan office buildings and Madison Avenue, Park Avenue, Manhattan, doesn't mean anything to them anymore. They're not going in like they did. The main selling point, the main office space, the main real estate that you have today is online. So make that professional. Make sure your customers get impressed by what you are showing them, and can be impressed by what you're offering. And the information is all there, and you could be found online, and you have all your wheels in this cog over here properly taken care of. And with that, I'd like to just end off that I'm going to give out the sign-up sheet. Whoever wants to sign up for this webinar, it's going to be on July 7th. July 7th, I don't know what time yet, but if you sign up, I will give information out about the webinar. You're going to get publicly, I would call, roasted. I'll give you tips and suggestions what you can do for your company to fix, some of your marketing. And I'm not here, this is not a money-making thing. I'm going to do it. I'm going to give you tips that you can do yourself, and updates that you can some of the simple things I can tell you. Spend 5 minutes, update your Google My Business profile. It won't cost you anything, and it will help you tremendously. I'm going to give you some of those tips as well. So I'm going to pass this sheet out. Thank you, Yehuda, for putting this sheet together. With that, I'd like to conclude. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to take any questions. You can pass it around. And what's that? So, in general, there's different metrics tools out there. There's different. I personally like Google Analytics. It's free. It's 100% free. Google gets benefits from it because they get more stats on a lot of websites that are using it. You should check who's visiting your website, where they're coming from. I don't know GT metrics specifically, but I'm just saying I personally use Google Analytics. And it gives a wealth of information. You see how many visits you're getting to the website, where they're coming from, which pages they visited before, which geographic region they are, which are the most popular pages, etc. So every site that we do, we put on Google Analytics automatically. It's part of the process because it's such an important tool. Yeah. Any other questions? Alan.
I just had a comment, which is to say that although they're separate and nicely colored in your chart, in reality they all interconnect, or most of them interconnect. You can use your website to capture emails. You can use your website to have people download a PDF of your brochure. Your article can appear on LinkedIn. Your article can appear on your website. So there's a lot of cross.
Correct. There's 100% cross, and that's why I have all these items connected here, because they all are interconnected. And there's one thing, Alan, that I failed to mention, which now that you mentioned this, is quality content. If your website has content that looks like it was written by a 7th grader, people will see that. They'll see through it. Make sure the content is thought out. It's not just about writing content, it's also thinking about what the content message will be. So hire a guy like Alan to really come up with the ideas behind the website content. All right, who's next? Any other questions?
Is there a challenge with having the same content in different places?
Yes. Google does check duplicate content. So you want to make sure that the content that you're writing is unique to your page. So don't take the same piece of content and put it on multiple pages. Don't take content from other places and copy and paste it, because A, there's copyright infringement issues, and B, you're not going to really gain anything because it's already indexed in Google in a certain place. I'd also mention on that note, you have a lot of social media companies that they have, let's say, they have multiple accounts that you can have. Many people buy their product. They put the same content on all of their customer pages. That same content is not going to really get you very far because it's the same duplicate content on all of their 20 clients using that content. So rewrite it. Take that content as a structure, as a concept, and have a guy like Alan rewrite it, because if somebody else has that same exact content on their site, that's going to be worthless for SEO. So then Google can index it. If you're the only one who has it and they're giving it to you and no other site has that content, then 100% that's fine. As long as they let you use it, and if it's behind the password, Google can index it. So it's not going to have the duplicate content issue. Okay. Any last questions? Oh, you're on a roll. What's that?
How different does it have to be?
Well, I think legally, I don't know what Google's algorithm is. You have to ask a Google expert on that. But I know from a legal aspect, I think it has to be changed. I think 20%. There has to be a 20% difference for copyright. I know that works. Let's say in graphics as well. If you like rip off a graphic, you have to change it enough that it's 20% different from its original source. But don't quote me from a legal perspective, or I don't want to get sued for giving incorrect legal advice.
From a legal perspective, the 20% is inaccurate. If a reasonable person will look at that logo and think it's the other guy, it could be 50% different. But if it's not that reasonable person, my area of expertise, my experience in graphics, if a reasonable person will associate the two and think it's them, then it's problematic, even if it's more than 20%.
There you go. Now, if you get sued, you can go explain it on Chaim. David.
So, Heshy, I see more and more websites have you click, like, do you accept cookies?
Uh-huh.
And also, I see some websites have like a whole page with legal information. Nobody reads it, but they put this thing out there, like you're accepting these terms and you're looking at the website.
Right. So there's bigger companies should have an attorney go through the content to make sure there are issues, let's say, relating to, let's say, if you're medical, there's HIPAA compliancy. If there's information that you're collecting, what you do with that information. In Europe, there's these laws for the cookie policies. You have to specify what you do with any information you collect. So for American companies, it's generally not an issue unless you're collecting information that you might do something with or sell. That there has to be a disclaimer of information. But I would tell you that. Always good to have an attorney review the content on a website, especially if you're collecting information or giving, you don't want, let's say, to get a lawsuit saying, no, that you misrepresented what you're offering based on what the website shows. There's also ADA compliancy, which is something some companies have to be concerned about as well to make sure that the website is ADA compliant. Again, these are legal issues that normally I'll work with an attorney, or if they give me some of the legal content to put on, like disclaimers or policies, we can add that in. A lot of it's generic. The lawyers just copy it and make it for your company.
When you look at a website, does it matter when you click accept cookies or not?
Yeah. So any company doing business in Europe has to follow the GDA. I forgot what GDA, whatever it's called, the GDPR, policies. So then you have to accept it before giving them any more detailed information.
You'll be able to sue the website. You don't
Correct. Okay.
I just want to thank Heshy. I did not the roast. I think I did the roast, the bacon, the stir fry. Spent like an hour and a half going through. We found tons of things that between four people we weren't as aware of. We were very attuned to it. It's great. It's well worth the investment.
Thank you. Okay. I think we're going to conclude here. Any more additional questions, just come over to me, speak to me afterwards. With that, I'd like to just conclude I'd like to conclude as Radial Creations, and I'm going to just put on my RBBN hat again. Once again, thank Yitzi for really getting this put together. Thank you, Yitzi, very much. Okay, and 1 second. I just want to also state that the idea of the networking group, for all those, I know many of you hear me say this all the time, do one-on-ones, make one-on-ones, follow up with everybody, because that's really going to be the value. If you make introductions to people and you help other people out, they will help you out. So the benefit of this group is meeting with others, getting to know other people, getting to know what they do, and trying to help them out. They'll help you out. You'll build business together by connecting with more people. Thank you very much. All yours, Itzi.